सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। 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 16th verse onwards, 8th chapter. आब्रह्म भुवना लोकाः पुनरावर्तिनोऽर्जुन मामुपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते। सहस्रयुगपर्यन्तम् अहर्यद्ब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिं युगसहस्रान्तां तेहोरात्रविदो जनाः। अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तयः सर्वाः प्रभवन्त्यहरागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्तसंज्ञके। भूतग्रामः स एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यहरागमे। 8th chapter, these verses are probably the only few verses in Bhagavad Geeta which talk about creation at this level. Bhagavan is mentioning what happens to those who don't come to me directly. If they directly come to me, they attain my nature, there is no coming and going. But let's say somebody has not attained that Kaivalya Bhava yet, Kaivalya Moksha yet. What is their journey? So 16th verse Bhagavan said, Abrahma Bhuvana Lokaha Punaravartinah Arjuna. So we had seen Brahma Loka is one name for different lokas that we are familiar with. Saketa, Goloka, Kailasa. Different lokas in Vedas are given by one name called Brahma Loka. And Vedas talk about two types of mukti. One is called as Sadhyo Mukti, which is Vedanta Moksha, which happens through knowledge. And second is Krama Mukti, where a person does Upāsana here, goes to Brahma Loka, from there he gets liberated. So if Bhagavan is talking about his Loka, let us say, as his Dhama, his world, like Saket Loka, Kailasha Loka, what it means is, person who worships the Lord here, puts their mind in Bhagavan, they go to that loka. And having gone there, Ishtadevata gives them Mahavakya Upadesha. So from there they get liberated. Now the problem with this verse is Bhagavan says, Abrahma bhuvana lokaha punaravartinaha Arjuna. First meaning is all worlds, including Brahma Loka. There is a return journey associated with it. So how did we understand this? There are two ways to go to Brahma Loka. First method is by doing upāsanās, which are called as Dahara Upāsana and Shandilya Upāsana. One who goes there with these two upāsanās follows the conventional path, means he goes there, permanently stays until Brahma Loka is there. Then finally, when Brahma Loka is to be dissolved, he gets liberation from Brahma Loka. Doesn't come back to lower worlds. That is a result of Dahara and Shandilya. There is another upasana called as Panchagni Upasana. Those who go to Brahma Loka with Panchagni Upasana go there primarily to enjoy. If somebody wants higher forms of enjoyment, that Upasana takes them there. And whoever goes through Panchagni Upasana, they come back even from Brahma Loka. That is how it is explained, why Abrahma Bhuvana Lokaha is mentioned here. Because everything has to fit in. Huh? Once you say Bhagavan's world is Brahma Loka, and from there person gets liberation, Krama Mukti. Then you have to explain how Bhagavan is telling here, Abrahma Bhuvana Lokaha Punaravartinaha. So there are two upasanas which takes a person there. One has no return, second one has return. Then what was the second way we saw? The word Abrahma Bhuvana Lokaha is split as until Brahma Loka, not including Brahma Loka. The word A can be used in the sense of until also. Samudra Kshitishaha. Kshitishaha means king. Kshiti is earth, Isha is Lord. Lord of the earth is king. Samudra Kshitishaha. Until the ocean is the ruling of the king. Naka Ratha Vartmaha. Naka means Swarga. Ratha means chariot. Naka Ratha Vartma means one whose chariot goes until Swarga. Dashrath Maharaj. Until Swarga, his chariot can take him. So the word A also means until. So if you translate this verse as Abrahma Bhuvana Lokaha, then it means before Brahma Loka, until Brahma Loka, whichever Loka a person goes, there is a return from that Loka. But in Brahma Loka, it is permanent. From there they get Krama Mukti, from there they get liberation. Now having described this, second line Bhagavan had said, Mamupeti tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Having attained me, one doesn't, one is not reborn. So if you get knowledge right here and now, then also there is no rebirth. Sadhyo Mukti. Ignorance is removed, no more rebirth. Self-abidance is gained, no more rebirth. Or if somebody goes to higher worlds and gains knowledge there, then also no rebirth. But now the concept or the word Brahma Loka is used, so Bhagavan has to explain what is the duration of Brahma Loka. What is this called in Sanskrit? Prasakta, anuprasakta. Prasakta means while you are explaining something, a topic came. Anuprasakta means right then and there you have to elaborate it. Prasakta, anuprasakta means that. Bhagavan Krishna cannot say, refer Bhagavatam Canto 2, where this topic is described, elaborately described. He cannot say that. That is his style of explanation. Then 17th verse said, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Ahar Yad Brahmano Viduhu. Now all of you are experts in calculating this. What is Brahmaji's life? 311.5 trillion years. 311.5 trillion years. That's why in any serial you see, Brahmaji is shown with a white beard. Have you seen young Brahmaji? Everywhere is white beard only. One commentator here writes, if you have Brahmaji's darshan, whatever you want, ask from him right then and there. If he says, wait a minute, then you are in trouble. So one day of Brahmaji is 4 yugas put together. 4 yugas put together is 4.32 million years. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. So 4.32 into 1000 is 1 day. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. 1 day of Brahmaji is 4.32 into 1000. So 4.32 billion years. So day is this much, night is another 4.32 billion. So 8.64 billion years is 1 day of Brahmaji. Into 365. That comes to 3.153 trillion years. That is how much Brahmaji is 1 year. Like that, Brahmaji has 100 years of life. So total it adds up to 315.3 trillion years, roughly around that. What is the main point here? After 315.3 trillion years are done, Brahmaji cannot stay even 1 day more. Meaning, even the position of Brahmaji is impermanent. It is long compared to human beings, no doubt. But it also has an end to show that this calculation is given. So we should not get too stuck in the calculation also. Now Bhagavan said, this day and night that we are calculating, it is not sunrise and sunset. What we are calculating is avyaktad vyaktaya sarvaha prabhavanti ahaha agame. What is the day of Brahmaji? When Brahmaji wakes up, all objects which were unmanifest, they become manifest. Ratriagame praliyante. When Brahmaji goes to sleep, tatra eva avyakta sanyake praliyante. All objects go back into unmanifest form. It is just like when Jiva goes to deep sleep, where does our body go for us? It goes back into unmanifest. For us, it goes back into avyakta avastha. This whole world goes into avyakta avastha. And next day morning, from the same place, it emerges back. Last time I mentioned one point, that with whatever mindset we go to sleep, whatever abilities we go to sleep, we wake up also with the same ability. Just notice that point. What example we had seen? If my Sanskritam, some part of Sanskritam is weak, let's say I'm weak in conjugations. I went to sleep with weakness in conjugation, I'll wake up also with weakness in conjugation. Now notice this point. Where is Panini Maharshi going to sleep? When Panini Maharshi goes into deep sleep, where is that avyakta avastha of Panini Maharshi? Is it different from my avyakta avastha or same avyakta avastha? It is the same. Totality of causal form is the same for Samskrita Pandita also and me as a Sanskrit sadhaka with weak conjugation. But when we come back to our conditionings, we wake up to our same conditionings. This is the Maya Shakti of the Lord. Nothing gets mixed up, everybody gets back what they deserved. So just like this body dissolves in deep sleep, Brahmaji's body is this universe. Brahmaji's deha is this world. This world also dissolves during Brahmaji's deep sleep. Now Bhagavan said, this cycle of creation has been going on for time immemorial. Bhuta gramah sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate. Bhagavan must be showing all the people around. He must be showing the trees and the mountains and the rivers. He says, Saha eva ayam. That which had become unmanifest, these all things have become manifest now. It is the same thing. I mean, there is nothing new in this creation. Unmanifest comes back into manifest and again becomes unmanifest. But what is the irony? He says, Ratra game avashaf partha. When the time of pralaya comes, helplessly a jiva has to become unmanifest. And if he wants to stay in avyakta avastha, he is not given a choice. Helplessly he has to become manifest. Therefore it is avashaha. Our hands are tied. Ratragame avashah partha prabhavati ahaha agame. When day comes, again they have to be helplessly become manifest. The example we had seen was, when you look at the cyclic nature of creation, in every kalpa, whenever Ramayana happens, different jivas become Ravana. Sometimes Jaya Vijaya, sometimes it is Pratapa Bhanu, sometimes the Shivaganas who are there. They have to become Ravana. Ravana's position is fixed, but different jivas occupy that position. For Bharatji also, Atri Rishi says, in every kalpa, whenever Ramavatara happens and Rajyabhisheka water, Bhagavan says, I will not take it right now. Every Bharata has come and poured it here only. So you also pour it here. I had to recap this session because my last session was speechless. Audio didn't get recorded. So we had to do this again a little bit. 20th verse. Parastasmatu bhavonyah avyakto vyaktat sanatanah yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati parastasmatu bhavonyah avyakto vyaktat sanatanah yasya sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. The first line is little confusing, huh? So do one thing. First pay attention to the words. Paraha tasmat tu bhavaha anyah avyaktah avyaktat sanatanah. Did you split the words? Paraha tasmat tu bhavaha anyah avyaktah avyaktat sanatanah. Second line is easy. In the first line, you can underline the word avyaktah and the last word sanatanah. Parastasmat tu bhavaha anyah avyaktah. Underline the word avyaktah and the last word is sanatanah. Now these two words are indicating consciousness. The word avyaktaha refers to consciousness. Sanatanaha refers to consciousness. Now you look at the remaining words. Tasmat tu paraha bhavaha avyaktat anyaha. Tasmat tu paraha bhavaha avyaktat anyaha. There are two avyaktas there, right? One is avyaktaha and second is avyaktat. Avyaktaha refers to consciousness. And avyaktat anyaha means it is different than avidya. Different than maya. Tasmatu paraha bhavaha. The supreme reality. So paraha also refers to consciousness. Paraha, anyaha and sanatanaha. They are three names of consciousness. This supreme consciousness, tasmatu paraha bhavaha avyaktat anyaha. It is different from avyakta. What is the word avyaktat referring to? Maya. Now what is the need for this distinction? When pralaya happens, everything goes into unmanifest form. Nothing is seen. Look at deep sleep. When we go into deep sleep, nothing is visible. Nothing becomes an object of sense organ. Pure consciousness also doesn't become an object of sense organs. So Bhagavan Krishna says, don't mix up both of them. Tasmat tu paraha bhavaha avyaktat anyaha. It is different than avyakta. Means this pure consciousness, if you look at it in the BMI chart, this consciousness is avyaktaha, paraha bhavaha, sanatanaha. And it is avyaktat anyaha, different than maya upadhi. Maya is also called as avyakta. Consciousness is also called as avyakta. But consciousness is avyakta, but it is not ajñāta. Ajñāta means unknown. Consciousness doesn't become an object of sense organ, but it is known as I. It is known as witness of thought. That witness never becomes an object. So Bhagavan says, don't mix up pure consciousness with pralaya. Don't mix up pure consciousness with maya upadhi. Tasmat tu paraha bhavaha avyaktat anyaha. Then its name is called, it is called as avyaktaha. So avyaktaha refers to consciousness, that which doesn't become an object of sense organs. That is avyaktaha. Sanatanaha. Sanatana means whether creation manifests or become unmanifest. There is no change in consciousness. Sanatana literal meaning is eternal. But in this context, the word Sanatana is used. Even if consciousness is, even if creation is manifest, or it is in unmanifest state, consciousness is unaffected by both these states. Therefore, it is Sanatanaha. One good example of consciousness and Maya is that of a seed. If you take a seed, the whole tree, huge tree, banyan tree, lies in that seed. But you can't see that tree in the seed. If you break open the seed, probably you will not find anything there. So that tree is avyakta in that seed. If we give the right conditioning, right water, sunlight, it's only a matter of time that tree will sprout out from that seed. So that seed which has unmanifest tree is like Maya. Creation is very well there, but not showing yet. Suppose you roast that seed, nothing will come out from that seed. That is pure consciousness. What is roasting? Removal of ignorance. The moment ignorance is removed and we understand consciousness as it is understood as that from which no creation can emerge. So seed which has the potential to sprout is Maya. Roasted seed from which there is nothing emerging, that is pure consciousness. No real emergence. Appearance can emerge. If an illusory snake is seen in the rope, is it fair to say the illusory snake emerged from the rope? There is no real emergence. It is just appearing there. So here also, when we say creation emerged from consciousness, what we mean to say is it is just appearing there. So Bhagavan says, notice the difference between consciousness and Maya. Yasya sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. This consciousness is that even when all names and forms get destroyed during pralaya, they go back into unmanifest, nothing happens to consciousness. Means even after Brahmaji's 315 trillion years, Brahmaji might change. Consciousness doesn't change. That is the meaning. Now this 20th and 21st verse are talking about nature of A-Kṣara. What is nature of consciousness? Next verse also you see. Avyakto-kṣara ityuktah tamahuh paramam gatim yam prapyana nivartante taddhama paramam mama. Avyakto-kṣara ityuktah taddhama paramam mama. Avyaktah aksharaha iti uktah tam ahuhu paramam gatim. That which has been mentioned as avyakta, which doesn't become an object of sense organ. Akshara, which doesn't undergo any change. Avyaktaha akshara iti uktaha. This is called as the supreme goal. Tam ahuhu paramam gatim. Gatim means goal. Paramam gatim. Abiding in the self is the highest goal. This is what our Upanishads are telling us. Yam prapyana nivartante. What is the uniqueness of this goal? Having attained which, one doesn't come back into samsara. No rebirth and no worldliness again. Tad dhama paramam mama. That is my real dhama. Pure consciousness is the real address of God. Tad dhama paramam mama. There are many points hidden in this verse. Actually, these are notions that we have, which we have to keep working on and come out of them. One notion is we feel only if a thing is seen by my eyes, it is real. Only if I can experience it, it is real. And whatever I cannot see is unreal. You will hear this question also. If God is real, why can't I see Him? Because I don't see Him, conclusion is there is no God. This notion, our Vedantic teachers, they will ask us to question. They say there are several things in our own experience which are there but don't become seen. These are examples. One good example is mind. If I say I am happy today, you can't ask me, show me where is your happiness. If I say I am sad. So thought of happiness, thought of sadness doesn't become an object. But we don't call it as unreal. So it is not necessary that only that object which I can see, hear and touch is real. This is an example. Another example is, whenever I say, I am, this feeling of I am, do we first touch our body, see our body and say, I am? Is it dependent upon light? You see, this thought of I am is not dependent upon anything. Thought of I am doesn't become, you don't need sense organs to say I am. Means even if it's a dark room and somebody asks us, is there a pot kept next to you? He says, I have a doubt. Let me turn on the light and see. But if somebody asks us, are you there? To say, yes, I am there, I don't need sense organs. So there are things which don't become an object of sense organs, but we don't call them as unreal. So our acharyas say, give consciousness also benefit of doubt. It is not an object, but don't call it as unreal. That's why that word is used, avyaktaha. But at the same time it is A-Kṣara. It is immutable. Avyaktaha A-Kṣara iti uktaha tam ahu paramam gatim. Now this paramam gatim is also another beautiful word. Now where will I find this A-Kṣara? You see, this consciousness pervades all. Yet it is not an object. But it is recognized as aham. As the witness of thoughts, illuminator of intellect, it is very distinctly available here. I'll make another statement. You see whether you find it okay. This world is meaningful. This world is understood to be existent only when I is there. Only when everything connects back to aham, then only we can even say this world exists. Take an example. Pot is the most simplest example. There is a pot kept in the sunlight. How many things are needed to know the pot? First we need light. Or first we need pot. Then you need light. Then I need eyes. Then I need mind. Then I need the ego. Then pure consciousness, which is illumining the ego and the mind, which in turn illumines the eyes, which in turn illumines the light falling on the pot. Where did the recognition of pot finally end? You can say consciousness or you can say I, because you are consciousness. Whole Vedanta is to teach us that. I am consciousness. So where is this world, or where is the existence of this world coming from? You remove consciousness, we cannot prove the existence of world. Minus consciousness, there is no enlivening of mind and intellect. There is no sense organ. There is no object. So the final journey of knowing this world finally depends upon I. And understanding the true nature of I, Bhagavan Krishna says, is Paramam Gatihi. In my journey, if I stop only at sense organ, that is not my final destination. In a flight also you have layover and final destination, right? If I come to in-between stops, it is just a stop. They are illuminators, no doubt. Eyes can illumine, mind can illumine. But where is that original illumination coming from? That is Paramam Gatihi, which is pure consciousness. How should I reach there? Bhagavan says, good news is, yam prapyana nivartante taddhama paramam mama. Having reached there is no coming back. Bhagavan, how should I reach there? He says, reaching there is not going anywhere. It is only understanding that I am already there. Erroneously, I am trying to include something in this I. Exclusion of erroneous things is attainment of reality. Traditional examples are glasses kept on the forehead. If I keep searching for those glasses and somebody shows me it is right here, the attainment of those glasses is not new attainment. What is that attainment? Ending the notion of ignorance. Another example is given of the necklace, Kanta Chami Kara. If it goes behind the neck and we are searching everywhere, after a lot of searching, if somebody shows this is where it is, that attainment is not new attainment, it is only ending erroneous notions. If you want another example, more relatable example, whenever you go to India, how much do you get luggage? 32 in one. Let's say you have 23 into 2. Let's say you have 4 bags. And you divide. 2 people are going, 2 bag yours, 2 bag mine. And the first person fills up his bag. And he asks, do you have some space in your bag? Then what do? Analyze those things which we will get there. Those things can be removed. Now, how did we create space? Just by removing what was not needed. We did not bring space from outside. That is precisely attaining the truth. That is precisely how self-abidance is attained. It is not a new attainment, but it is ending the identification with body and mind. While those objects were there in that suitcase, was space there or not? It was very well there, but not available. Similarly, while we are identified with body and mind, is consciousness there or not? Very well there. But it is not noticed. Taddhama paramam mama means understanding that consciousness as I, devoid of conditioning. Now the beauty of this giving up of erroneous identification with conditionings, what pushes us into future birth is our ignorance. Because of avidya, we identify with conditioning. And through those conditionings, we do actions for happiness. Those actions bring karma phalas. And whether I like it or not, as long as I say I am the doer, I will have to be the experiencer. I cannot say while doing the actions I am the doer. And while the results come, I say I am not the experiencer. I don't want to be the experiencer. That option is not given to me. So based on karma, karma phala comes. Based on karma phala, future births are waiting. How does knowledge put an end to rebirth? Because it removes the erroneous identification with the doer. Only when a person confidently says, I am not karta, then he is given the next part, you are also not bhokta. You don't have to take any more birth. That's how there is no return. Now Bhagavan elaborates this further, nature of consciousness. Purushasya parah partha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya yasyantasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. Purushasya parah partha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya yasyantasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. Purushaha saha paraha. This consciousness is also called as Purushaha. Paraha is easy to understand. Huh? Paraha means unsurpassed. Niratishayaha. There is nothing which excels this truth. That is paraha. What is the meaning of Purushaha? Two meanings are given. One is called Purnatvat Purushaha. Purnatvat means the one who makes this body and the entire universe complete. That is consciousness. Purnatvat. In one Upanishad it is said, while this creation was being done, Bhagavan created everything. Hands and legs, mouth, everything was created perfectly. All animals were there, everything was there. Devatas were also called and made to sit in different sense organ. But nothing moved. Then Bhagavan said, I have to come myself and enter this creation. So by entering the creation, he made this creation complete. So if you have to find him, where will you find him? In our own self. As witness of thought, he is always available. Purnatvat Purushaha or Puri Shayanat. Shayana means to sleep. The one who is sleeping in this body is called Purushaha. How does consciousness appear to us? Awake or sleeping? He said, some stage it is sleeping only. We don't deny it. See, this is the caveat you can say of listening to Vedanta. Once you listen for a few years, even if somebody tells you are not consciousness, you will refute through logic. No, I am consciousness. But it is shayanam. It is sleeping. Means that which resides in us without any action. Purishayanath means that. The silent observer who doesn't interfere too much. That is Purushaha. Our colloquial understanding of Purusha is person. If you are a Sanskrit student, you think it is Uttama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha. What is Purusha, even in colloquial sense? The same consciousness identified with conditionings. What we call as Purusha, colloquially, that is also the same consciousness, but because our attention is only on conditioning, we say the body as Purusha. So how should I shift from Tritiya Purusha to Uttama Purusha? How should I shift from the colloquial Purusha to Uttama Purusha? Just by removing ignorance. If I can let go of erroneous identification with conditioning, what remains is Purusha. Similar example if you take, if let's say there is a bucket which is 7 gallons. 7-gallon bucket. If I ask you, what is there in that bucket, empty bucket, what will you tell me? Space. Not trick question. What is there in that bucket? Space. And if I ask you, how much space is there? What will you tell me? 7 gallon. And how much space is outside the bucket? As much as you want, infinite. But if I break that bucket, suddenly what happens? There is no 7 gallon anymore. Space which was inherently infinite becomes infinite by dropping the conditioning. You have not done anything to space. What we have done is just taken care of the conditioning. That bucket space is our colloquial Purusha. Infinite space is Uttama Purusha, Parama Purusha. So how should I go from the colloquial Purusha to the Parama Purusha? Just by dropping the conditionings which make this Parama Purusha appear to be this transactional Purusha. That is this line. And Bhagavan says, how to attain it? Bhaktya labhyatu ananyaya. Anya means different. Ananya means not different. By understanding that this truth is not different from me, and having that intense desire to become or to abide in that truth, that is called as Ananya Bhakti. We should not feel that why is this meaning being stretched? Why can't we translate Bhakti as the Bhakti that we understand? Saguna Bhakti. This is not the context. Here we are discussing about self-abidance. So if you see the word Bhakti here, it has to be translated as knowledge. We saw this in Viveka Chudamani also, right? Swaswarupa anusandhanam bhakti itya vidhiyate. In 18th chapter, there is one verse where the word bhakti comes. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Bhagavan Krishna says, one comes to know me through bhakti. And you know what Shankaracharya translates bhakti as? Nididhyasanam. Meditating upon the truth, devoid of conditioning, he says that is bhakti. Shankaracharya's words and Upanishadic words, they will always go together. So if he translates something as Nididhyasanam, that has several reasons why he is doing it. You all must have heard the story of Vedvyasji coming to debate with Shankaracharya. Deva Tirukkural. It has, the beginning part has this. Shankaracharya and Bhagavan Vedvyasji, they are debating on Brahma Sutra. Vedvyasji comes disguised as an old Brahmana, not as Vedvyasji. And who has composed Brahma Sutra? Bhagavan Vedvyasji. Shankaracharya is telling him what is the scriptural interpretation of Brahma Sutra. And Vedvyasji is convinced. He gives opposite views. Shankaracharya says, no, this sutra has to be interpreted in this way only. Because in this Upanishad it is said like this, that Upanishad it is said like that. So main meaning has to be this. That is where Vedvyasji is pleased. And he says, stay here for 16 more years. It is said when he wrote Brahma Sutra Bhashya, Shankaracharya was 16 years. And he told Vedvyasji, my job is done. I can go. And Vedvyasji gives him 16 additional years. So whatever word he translates, we have to take it very deeply. So here when it is said, Bhaktya labhyastvananya, Bhaktya refers to knowledge. By knowing the truth without conditioning. Yasya antasthani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. What is the nature of this Purusha which is attained through bhakti? Yasya antasthani bhutani. All beings are present in this Purusha. Just like all ornaments are present in gold, all beings are present in Purusha. And yena sarvam idam tatam. The one who pervades everything, one in whom everything lives, that is this consciousness. Now Bhagavan takes up a different topic about the journey after dropping this body. Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. That we will see in the next session. If you have something to ask, share, this is a good time. Yes. Either side you can go.
Hari Om Swamiji. Since vasanas don't transfer from one jiva to another jiva, and also in every kalpa and yuga, some jivas get liberated. Eventually, after a few cycles, there won't be any jivas, including Brahma.
Not necessary. Because if you look at the percentage of liberation and percentage of jivas bound, so we don't have to worry. Right? Bhagavan only said, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvata. Not in that way. No, he's saying vasanas don't get transferred across jivas, which is right. My vasana remains with me. Next jiva's vasana remains with it. It doesn't get transferred. Yes, you can go here.
Hari Om Swamiji. So the question is, the population is constantly increasing. So if the jiva gets, or the sthula sharira gets with its vasana moved from one jiva to another and it's not split, how does it account for the population increasing, and what happens to this jiva and this ever increasing population?
Think of it this way. From Satya Yuga to Kali Yuga, whatever trajectory was there in the last kalpa, more or less same thing is followed this kalpa also. So it is not going to increase forever. It will go back to Satya Yuga time. Which jiva will become manifest when? We don't know. Right? And which loka which jiva is, that also we don't know. What population explosion we are talking is only Manushya Loka. Right? So always think about creation as 14 worlds, not only Bhuloka. And 14 worlds is one Brahmanda. Like that there are countless Brahmandas. If you think about this, we realize Gahana Karmano Gatihi. Which jiva has to go where, only the Lord knows. We cannot even intellectualize how this creation is run. Okay? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.